Look, nobody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy. Sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
That clip right there. That's where the night started, and it only got worse from there for Democrats. Nobody showed up, not even close. While Trump was delivering what 30 million Americans watched live, Democrats threw their own little party across town. And what happened there? The single most embarrassing moment ever caught on camera in American politics. Stay right here, because what comes next? Nobody saw it coming. Look at this. Just look at it. This is the Democrats' big moment, their rally, their answer to the most watched political speech in years, the grand resistance, the pushback, the movement.
That's what you were looking at, is the Democrats' version and rally against Trump's State of the Union address tonight. Apparently, most Democrats didn't show up to Trump's address to the Union, to the American people. They showed up to this, the People's State of the Union rally. And boy, oh boy, does it look empty and nobody showed up.
And there is absolutely nobody there. Crickets. Empty chairs as far as the camera can see. This is what 4 years of "we're coming back" actually looks like in real life. Now, who did Democrats send to lead this historic resistance? Joy Reid. Unemployed Joy Reid, standing at a microphone dropping F-bombs at an audience of maybe 40 people who all look like they'd rather be anywhere else on earth.
We just want to do sort of one housekeeping note. Attention all MAGA trolls. And with apologies to the pastor who gave the invocation, your bullshit is not welcome here. And to paraphrase one of my favorite actors in the world, Robert De Niro, I'm going to slightly paraphrase him. Fuck y'all.
Meanwhile, across town, Trump is speaking to 30 million people watching live, and the Democrats sent Joy Reid to an empty room to curse at Trump supporters. That's the plan, that's the strategy, that's the best they had. Now, here's where it gets even better. That's what they brought to the table. That's their counter-programming.
American people, I stand with the pueblo, with the people that finally speak in the names of Silverio, Keith, Renee, Alex, Linda, Ruben, and the 38 people who have died in ICE detention since the start of 2025. I'm talking about Lawrence, Ever, Victor, Paradi, Luis, Geraldo, Luis, Nenko, Delvi, Fard, Jean, Shiraz, Pete, Francisco, Kai, Gabriel, Hassan, Leo, Miguel, Rubin, Nolan, Ismael, Santos, Oscar, Lorenzo, Chufan.
Reading names into a microphone in a room that looks like a Tuesday afternoon at a DMV waiting room. And then, the part that broke the internet, a guy in a Trump hat just strolls right into their rally. Doesn't sneak in, doesn't hide, doesn't ask permission.
Order! It's stuck in the border. Go Trump! Go Trump! Listen, guys. Thursday is here.
So again, I kind of want to go back to the beginning of this. He shows up with a Trump hat. He says, "Let's go Trump." Let me play it from the beginning. Hold on.
Order! It's stuck in the border. Go Trump! Go Trump!
Oh no. So again, lawmakers decided to throw their own people's rally. And not only did it fail miserably, but you have Trump supporters or people with Trump hats literally laughing at you and the entire crowd. And look, he didn't get arrested. He's just there having the time of his life, and nobody cares.
Just walked straight up to the crowd, and nobody stopped him. Nobody confronted him. Nobody even moved. because there was nobody there to stop him. He walked into the resistance, and the resistance didn't even notice. An empty room, a broken microphone, Joy Reid screaming into the void, and a Trump supporter casually strolling through their event like he owns the place. Now let's talk about what Trump actually did tonight. Because people keep saying Trump is just chaos, just noise, just drama. No, what happened tonight was surgical, calculated, deliberate. Trump walks into that chamber knowing exactly what he's going to do. He looks out at both sides of the room and sets the trap perfectly.
If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
The entire Republican side of that room erupts. Standing ovation, USA chants echoing through the chamber, pure electricity.
There is Trump shaking his head as the entire Republican side of the room is standing up, literally applauding, while the Democrat side of the room is literally sitting down and doing absolutely nothing. But the applause kept going, and Trump waited for them to get up. They still didn't. Take a look.
The Democrat side, stone cold, sitting, staring, silent, on national television in front of 30 million Americans watching at home. Trump didn't say another word after that, just waited, stood there and let the cameras do the work. Let America see with their own eyes exactly who was sitting down and exactly who was standing up. That's not a speech moment. That's a checkmate. That's a politician who knows exactly what he's doing. And it gets better. Democrats didn't even stand for the Olympic gold medal winners. Gold medal winners. American champions who went out and competed for this country, and the Democrat side of the room couldn't even get out of their seats for that. Let that sink in. But the moment that will be talked about for years, the moment that went viral within minutes, was the tax cut trap.
Democrats, every single one of them, voted against these really important and very necessary massive tax cuts. They wanted...
That is the Democrats literally getting up and cheering for voting against the American people?
large-scale tax increases to hurt the people instead. But we held strong, and with the great, big, beautiful bill, we gave you no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors.
Every single Democrat in that room stood up and cheered the fact that they voted against giving Americans no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. They literally applauded themselves for voting against working people, on live television, in front of the entire country, caught themselves doing it and couldn't stop. That has never happened before in the history of American politics. Not once, not ever. Now let's talk about Ilhan Omar, because she didn't come to listen tonight. She didn't come to represent her constituents, she came to perform. While Trump is delivering a State of the Union address, Omar is screaming, disrupting. She brought a guest specifically to create a scene and make the night about herself, and the cameras caught every single second of it.
Ilhan Omar brought to Congress before Trump's State of the Union. Again, the Democrats positioning themselves to get Americans who they look like they're, again, I know a lot of people get mad at me for bringing this up, but it looks like the Democrats are going to take the House again due to the statistical measures of the poly market, the Cauchy markets, the people, what they're betting on. It looks like Democrats, usually whoever is in charge usually loses in the midterms, and it looks like Democrats might take back the House. So what they're doing to take back the House, they're using ICE and they're using the Epstein files to attack Trump.
Here's the part that gets people fired up. The job, the one that Minnesota taxpayers fund with their hard-earned money, is to sit in that room and actually represent the people who sent her there. Instead, the entire night becomes a show, a performance, all about the moment, not the people. And while all of this is happening, the comments online are absolutely exploding because people are asking a very simple question that nobody in mainstream media will go anywhere near. How does someone go from a $15,000 net worth to a $30 million net worth on a $200,000 government salary? How does that math work? What's the explanation? Nobody in a suit on cable news will ask it, but 10 million people online sure are, and that number keeps growing. Minnesota, that conversation is coming whether anyone wants it or not. Everything stops here, because this part is bigger than politics. Bigger than rallies, bigger than any of the games being played tonight. Trump invited the mother of Irina Zarutska to sit in that chamber. Irina's story deserves to be told slowly and clearly. She survived a brutal war in her home country. She came to America because America was supposed to mean safety, supposed to mean a future, supposed to mean something.
Arrested over a dozen times and was released through no cash bail. Stood up and viciously slashed a knife through her neck and body. No one will ever forget there were people on that train. No one will ever forget the expression of terror on Irina's face as she looked up at her attacker in the last seconds of her life. She died instantly. She had escaped a brutal war only to be slain by a hardened criminal, set free to kill in America.
Arrested over a dozen times. Released every single time. No cash bail, no consequences, no accountability. Until the day he got on a subway and murdered a young woman who had already survived more than most people ever will. Her mother traveled to Washington and sat in that chamber. And Trump stood at that podium and looked directly at her and said, "Tonight, we will ensure justice for your magnificent daughter."
Mrs. Zarutska, tonight I promise you we will ensure justice for your magnificent daughter, Irina. How do you not stand? How do you not stand?
The Republican side stood. The applause filled every corner of that room. The Democrat side sat down. For a grieving mother, for a murdered daughter, for a woman who escaped a war only to be killed by someone the system set free over and over again. They couldn't stand, because standing means admitting the policies they fought for, the sanctuary cities, the no cash bail, the open borders, put Irina in the ground. And they cannot bring themselves to admit that. Trump looked right at them and said it out loud. How do you not stand? There is no answer to that question. There never will be. Here's what got completely buried under all the noise tonight. The single biggest announcement of the entire speech, the thing that every working American, regardless of party, needs to stop and hear. Trump announced that the long-term goal is to use tariff income collected from foreign countries to completely replace the income tax. Not reduce it, not reform it, not tweak it, replace it. Eliminate it entirely.
And as time goes by, I believe the tariffs paid for by foreign countries will, like in the past, substantially replace the modern-day system of income tax, taking a great financial burden off the people that I love.
No income tax. Think about that paycheck right now. Think about what actually hits the bank account versus what was actually earned. Now imagine keeping every single dollar of it. The single mom working 2 jobs, the construction worker up at 4 a.m., the small business owner who spends half their year doing paperwork just to figure out what the government gets to take. All of it. Kept, gone, done. People who have never once considered voting Republican stopped mid-scroll when those words came out. Because that's not a left issue or a right issue. That's everybody's money. That's the most universal thing a president has said in decades. And here's the part that really gets people talking. IRS employees who don't even pay their own taxes are out here collecting money from Americans who go to prison for not paying theirs. That conversation is now on the table too. Will it happen tomorrow? No. Is the road long? Absolutely. But a sitting president of the United States said those words on national television in front of the entire country. That's a completely different America than the one that woke up this morning. So here's exactly where things stand after tonight. Democrats showed up to an empty room while Trump spoke to 30 million people. They sat in silence for Olympic gold medal winners. They cheered against their own constituents' tax cuts on live television. They couldn't stand for a grieving mother. And Trump just put eliminating the income tax on the table for every working American in this country. One side is playing chess at the highest level. The other side sent Joy Reid to an empty parking lot and called it a movement. The midterms are coming faster than anyone thinks. And after tonight, a lot of people just made up their minds. Drop a comment right now. Voting red in the midterms? And if the Democrats just had the worst night in their political history, smash that like button because YouTube needs to push this to every single American who hasn't seen it yet. See you on the next one.